Hello and welcome to ET Interview. Before I take the clock forward, I really want to take the clock back. When we were discussing the hospitality industry 24 months ago, it was about survival. 2021 and 22 have been about revival. But 2023, will it be about flourish? There is an unprecedented tailwind which the Indian hospitality industry is enjoying. Is that here to stay? It's been a great year for the shareholders of Indian hotels. Stock is one of the best performing stock across the board now. So can I say it's Christmas time, but for shareholders, abhi to party shuru hui hai. Let's take that conversation forward with the man whom I've always maintained, in a sense, is one of the architects for the turnaround for Indian hotels in last 18 to 24 months. Mr. Chhatwal, what a great year it's been for your shareholders and what a comeback it's been for the industry.
Yeah, indeed, you are right. I think if I was to complete your sentence, of course, it was about survival. And then came revival in three phases, like the three waves of COVID-19. And now it is about thrival. So I think the sector is thriving. And within this sector, we are very well positioned to thrive even more because of our brandscape, because of our business model, and because of who we are and how we have conducted ourselves.
Every sector goes through a cyclical upturn and a cyclical downturn. The entire hospitality industry, at least in India, has seen deep cyclicality. So let's understand the trend forward. It's been a good year, but will next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, will there be great years for the industry per se?
Well, Nikunj, I have always maintained that the best is yet to come. And I am a firm believer in that. Maybe call me optimist or maybe biased for the sector. I think it's not just about hospitality. If your 85% footprint is on the Indian subcontinent, the likelihood that you will benefit from the tailwind that India is getting, as we all read about, that India is the highest growing economy in the world. India's GDP growth for the third year in a row is the fastest. All the sectors are improving in margins and in terms of their capital structure, etc. So I think hospitality is an indirect beneficiary of all these activities happening at a macro level. Number two, it is also important the investment that the government is making in the infrastructure. So you build more airports, you build more roads, obviously then hospitality will benefit from that. And finally, I am very bullish about the positioning of India with the G20 that is happening. I think it was high time that India was kind of showcased on the global map, and there is no better opportunity than G20 to showcase India. And I think once we showcase India, the inbound coming to India after the G20 will also increase because the awareness of India will increase. So all in all, I think given these three factors, this is just the beginning, and I would repeat, the best is yet to come.
But do you see the visibility for the industry per se? I'll get into specific of Indian hotels for at least next 3 years.
Absolutely, and any cyclicality in the business in the past has, always lasted at least 3 to 5 years. Now, if we would say or assume that we have 1 year or almost 9 months into a positive cycle, then still, let's say around 4 years, it should last. However, I think companies like ourselves, when we get into that question, I will explain what we have done to take out the volatility to the extent possible in the business, have a balanced portfolio, and still, increase the size of the cycle. And I think we've done a lot of work on that in the last several years, especially during the COVID time.
How many rooms have you added post-COVID? And what I understand that as percentage of the total portfolio, Indian hotels could be one of the biggest, you would be adding one of the largest hotels as percentage of the total number of rooms. I just want to bring this point out for the benefit of our viewers. It's not absolute because large hotel chains globally have got a much larger base. But as percentage of the total portfolio, my understanding is that Indian hotel could be adding one of the largest portfolio expansion in the world.
Yes, that is true because our pipeline, which is 65 hotels and 8,000 plus rooms, represents almost between 36 to 38% of the total rooms in operation. Now, 36 to 38% of your rooms in operation as pipeline is a very strong number. Now, when we define pipeline, the pipeline is all contracts that are legally binding and have been communicated to the market as a listed company. So this is not contracts in negotiations. That at any given point of time, we have another 50 or so in active negotiations. So yes, indeed, as a percentage of our rooms in operation, we could boast of, if not the highest, at least among the top 3 in the world.
So 65 and more rooms coming, still work in progress?
65
hotels, 65 hotels
and 8,000 plus rooms as we speak today. Yeah. But hotels keep opening and we keep signing. So I think it would be fair to assume a number above 60 hotels at any given point of time in our pipeline, and a pipeline in terms of rooms, 8,000 plus in foreseeable future.
So where do you see the entire new portfolio addition portfolio moving? Where would you like to stop? You would say, okay, I've added what I wanted to add. Now I would really, enjoy the benefits of expansion.
Well, that's a question. I would say it's like a passe. Growth. You can't say, no, I've had 10% GDP growth for 3 years in a row. Now let me enjoy the 30% and be pleased with 0, and then we will restart in a few years' time. The same is the story of growth when it comes to any sector, hospitality also, in terms of number of rooms, in terms of new concepts, in terms of new businesses. Growth is very fundamental, even to retain talent. It's not just about creating more value and more profit. People must have the sense that they have the ability to grow with the company, and that's one of the key, I think, differentiator in how you're going to retain and maintain your talent pipeline. Rooms pipeline, hotel pipeline is one thing, but having talent will be the key to success for any company in the next 3 to 5 years.
When we spoke last, we were talking about the Q2 performance, and you hinted that Q2, which is seasonality a weak quarter, in this financial year, the Q2 performance was one of the best. Now Q3 is the bumper quarter. So are you on course to report a bumper Q3 as well?
Well, I can't make a definitive forward-looking statement on the television.
Good or bad, yes, a bumper, choose the word.
But I think Q3 has always been a bumper historically, and there is nothing that we know today with the quarter almost coming to an end that would make me believe otherwise, that why it should not be a bumper for the entire sector.
So what, to your mind, for 2023 is the big trend for Indian hotels? And I'm just going to amplify that question. Exactly a year ago when we spoke, you said the trend could be we're expanding. The trend could be luxury travel by Indians. The trend could be Taj is going much more digital, whether it is human or adaptation of new technologies. So for 23, what's the big trend? What is that thing? What is that moving wheel for you?
Well, I think, as I said, it's not quarter to quarter. The strategies we put in place are, number one, we took Taj to a very different level. Taj is not just another brand in this country. Taj is a brand for the country, and this is a brand that positions the country. And anybody who saw the event in Mumbai or at the Lake Palace in Udaipur and those pictures would clearly identify that this is like a national treasure. So we have tried to take Taj to the next level. So it's a part of our traditional business is Taj, Vivanta, and SeleQtions. And no wonder Taj became the world's strongest hotel brand for the second year in a row, and nation's strongest brand across all sectors. So we have that dual recognition for this year. Now, Vivanta growth is also accelerated, and SeleQtions as a platform for, this is a soft brand, is also growing quite well. So our traditional businesses are doing well. The operating leverage in Taj is really helping us with the tailwind as you described in the cycle. So obviously a Taj Mahal Palace or a Taj Lands End or a Taj Palace in Delhi or our palaces in general are doing very, very well. and they create the absolute amount of profitability. Our new age businesses, due to this profitability and free cash flows, have the opportunity to scale up should we use some of these cash flows to fuel growth in these businesses. And the new age businesses are more digital driven businesses. That is our reimagined Ginger, the Cumin as a QSR, as a home delivery business. Both are coupled with each other now because we are doing Cuminization of Ginger. All the all-day dining restaurants of Ginger are being rebranded into Cumin. We have already finished 11, and 9 more will get done in the next 2-3 weeks. So you'll have 20 of the 60 in operations already branded as Cumin. Plus we have freestanding QSR in Cumin. And finally our homestay, which is very exciting. Today we have a portfolio of 105 homestays, of which more than 60 are in operation. And we opened recently our flagship in Goa. So I think that businesses have the opportunity now and also the resources to scale up. So I think these are businesses from an absolute amount will be small in foreseeable future. But in terms of the percentage contribution, they will contribute with very high EBITDA margin. And that is the reason we've been able to give a guidance to the market that at the end of this business cycle, which we said under Ahvaan 2025, we would reach 33% EBITDA margin. And that is, by the way, industry leading. A company operating across the globe in New York, in London, in Cape Town, Dubai, etc., is not the easiest to cross the a 30 as a number in terms of EBITDA. You can cross that as a GOP, gross operating profit, but as a EBITDA to cross that number is fairly a tough task.
You are investing into new businesses, and right now you're enjoying the benefits of an operating leverage. Could you broadly tell us that how much of the future investment moves into new businesses, businesses which you've just incubated?
Well, the guidance which we have given will stay. Firstly, that we are looking for a balanced portfolio. We are today at 54% asset heavy and 46% fee-based business. We have given the guidance that will be 50-50. So even if we add owned hotels or leased hotels, we have to add certain number of management contracts and other fee-based business to keep that ratio going. So I think there's nothing changing on that front. When it comes to new businesses, I think investment will remain limited. As you rightly said, they are more driven by digital. If there are investments, they would be very selective. There would be because they are an investment in the brand. So I've given this example on your channel many times, Ginger Santa Cruz, which should be open in 9 months from now. Now, Ginger Santa Cruz is a piece of land that Indian Hotels has had for 30 years. It was the old flight kitchen land. And now on that, we are building together with Tata Projects the 371 rooms. So together, that project has a huge value in terms of, it could be anything between 400 to 500 crores. However, it's a part of our asset management strategy. We have not acquired the land. That land was existing, and there were restrictions on whether we could sell it or not. So we have kind of restructured or re-engineered the entire thinking in order to develop a flagship for the brand. And that flagship will generate another 10, 20, 30 new Ginger contracts because that is really a trophy that the brand has needed for the last decade or so. And now the time has come. Had there been no COVID, it would have already been open. It's, because of all the lockdowns and the construction stops that we have had the delay. But let's say, up manzil dur nahi hai. 9 more months and we should have it.
When typically I've seen promoters, they see visibility and they get excited about growth for next 2 or 3 years, they end up acquiring a lot. Sometimes they end up, biting much more they can chew. Is there a thought which is on your mind that, look, if you get a good asset, you're open to a big acquisition? maybe it could involve putting leverage back into the balance sheet. Are you thinking on those lines, or that is a no, this is the wrong question, don't ask me this question. If I will acquire, I'll acquire small and I will not put debt in my balance sheet.
Well, hopefully we will not need debt because we'll be able to leverage many platforms that we have, either within the group or the platform we have with GIC. There's no question of no. Some of these smart acquisitions which were done like 20 years ago even, like Taj Lands End, have proven to be very, very successful. And we should not, say no to everything. Actually, as we speak, 2 days ago, we have signed up for the 2 islands in Lakshadweep, Soheli and Kadmat. We are building on our own money the Vivanta and Ginger in Ekta Nagar, Kevadia, where the Statue of Unity is. And we will keep doing strategic investments, whether it is building the Northeast or maybe Ayodhya tomorrow. Why not? So there are opportunities that present themselves, and especially Taj brand has done very well in putting certain destinations on the map, but also benefiting by doing so. Goa, Fort Aguada was a beginning for the tourism journey of Goa. Kerala, God's own country, was also somehow started by the Taj. So I think there's a lot of merit, and we recently did open, just before COVID, we opened Havelock in Andamans, where we also had one of the G20 events, is also a showcase to the world. So I think some of these investments are strategic, and we will take always a long-term view, also judge each of these investments on their merit, and decide on the basis of the ticket size whether we will invest ourselves, we will leverage one of our partnerships or a platform that we have, or seek help from one of the other group companies so that we still remain closer to asset light and somebody else has that core business and core competence and ends up investing.
When a CEO of any company shares such a detailed plan, it gets me thinking. Are you thinking about something big?
I'm always thinking. Thinking doesn't cost money. And you can even think in your dreams. So I think it's our job to think and keep adjusting your thinking based on the opportunities that come in the marketplace. And I've always maintained even an adversity is an opportunity. So that's how Cumin was born. That's how Ama was born.
Yes.
And there is no reason why some other things will not come going forward in future, especially when the times are good and the tailwinds are strong.
There's a term called, dollar customers, and that is perhaps the most sought after customer or hotel guest who comes in November, December to Palace Hotels and they pay top dollar. That customer, is he back? If he's not back, will they be back next year? And if they are back, what happens because of that?
Well, it will be the icing on the cake, because what we have all learned in the last 18 months is that the rupee customer is suddenly stronger than the dollar customer, despite that the dollar has gone from 66 to 82.5 or something. Right?
Why is that?
I think the new India is a different India. The post-COVID India is a different India. The I would say self-reliance or the confidence of Indians to live, spend, enjoy, and become more experiential is very, very evident. It has not been to this extent before as what we are witnessing now. Now, some people call it YOLO, some people call it Kal Hona Ho, whatever you want to call it, or some people called it pent up, but now we are in the month of December. At some point, the pent up word has to go away, right? So I think there's a permanent change. As an example, a lot of people drove for the first time on vacation themselves during COVID. Now, the first time was difficult, the second time was less difficult, the third time was easy. Now I would say at least 10 to 20% of them have converted permanently and are driving on an extended weekend. So that is a change that has happened, and that is to the benefit for the hospitality industry.
The word which applies in my life is FOMO because I'm yet to catch up with all my travel. So whether it's YOLO for others, it is FOMO for a lot of us that we really need to, visit a lot of these properties and enjoy hospitality. So, couple of wrapping up questions. I'm going to broadly classify the hotel business in two broad categories: luxury and business. And you can choose the word. For the luxury category, good days or boom days?
Boom days.
Okay. For the business category,
Boom days.
why do you say that?
Because both are strong. Luxury is proven to be more resilient during the crisis, and a lot of luxury brands have actually performed better in all sectors during the bad phase that the world went through. And business, because business is beginning to come back, at the end of the day, any business is also relationship business. And you can't build relationships only on a screen. You have to meet people in person. So I think a lot of travel is beginning to happen and will accelerate further cross-border and also within the country. Say it because of G20, say it because of people who have not traveled in the last few years, who have had FOMO, like you mentioned. So I think there is a lot of business travel that is happening and has started quite well. The industry did well on leisure, and leisure was really the one that drove the revival in the industry. But the thrival can only come when it is a combination of business and leisure, or you call it bleisure. So I think that's going to come.
And you see that this entire combination of luxury and business in an uptick, in a boom time for next 2 to 3 years. What changes tomorrow, we don't know. But as of today,
save for any black swan event, save for anything which is beyond anybody's reasonable control, I am not only seeing this, I'm very convinced that this is positive days for the sector.
Taj brand is the strongest hotel brand in the world now. It's such a proud moment for all of us as Indians. But for you to become one of the most profitable brands, I'm not talking about the quantum, I'm talking about percentage. What will it take?
That's a tough one. The answer is very simple. A lot of hard work, lot of focus, lot of discipline, lot of innovation, and never ever ever give up. Just keep going and it will happen.
Could that happen in this cycle?
I see no reason why it should not happen.
Is that a forward guidance indicatively?
Not really. I think it depends what the metric is. See, you cannot compare. Taj brand is one of our brands. Now, Indian Hotels has a portfolio of so many brands. Now, within that, should Taj not be the most profitable? Of course. Has it always been the most profitable? Yes. Is it the backbone of the company? Yes, it has been. Will it remain the backbone? Yes. Going forward, yes. So if that's I think a fair statement to make. The other brands and businesses will grow with time, and as we speak, we are celebrating 119 years of Taj, which happened actually on 16th of December, because the Taj Mahal Palace opened in 1903. Now, compared to other brands, it is a century ahead. So others are catching up within our portfolio, but I'm sure they will start contributing significantly also in 5, 7, 8 years from now.
When we met last, it was Paneer Kit Kat and Murge Taj. That was cooking in the Taj kitchen last time. What is cooking for this Christmas?
What is cooking? Christmas is always directly correlated to turkey. And that is the traditional Christmas dish for all the people from that faith or belief, and also for others. However, we are a nation with a lot of vegetarians too. So I think the safest bet is our traditional vegetables, and they are very different from different regions of India, except for paneer, which is nationwide. I think whether it is aubergine or it is courgette or it is whatever, capsicum, etc. And you can stuff a capsicum as well as you can stuff a turkey. So I think it's each to their own, whatever their likes, preferences, beliefs are. I can only say, after 2 years, let's take a moment to relax. Let's take a moment to think of the well-being of ourselves, our families, and let's take a moment to take a deep breath and enjoy the good times that especially we are facing in our sector.
I'll take a deep breath, but I'll say thank you. Thank you for joining us. You've just, given us your time this year. You've been very liberal with that. You've joined us on the channel at various turning points, explained beautifully about the cycle and the good work Indian Hotels is doing. So happy holidays and have a wonderful 2023 ahead.
Thank you, Nikunj.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.